In this episode of Mighty Car Mods, we are tuning the BRZ in preparation for the final battle. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. Last episode you would have seen we turbocharged this car in a day. We had 3 hands on it. There's 3 people, 6 hands and a foot.
Yep.
Making 7 appendages all up.
8.
We got it, what?
Sorry.
We got it all done 9. There was 3 of us, so that's 9.
9 appendages.
We got it all done in a day because we had 9 appendages all fandoogling it at once.
And we got it done in a day because BRZs are like one of the easiest cars ever to work on and one of the easiest cars for accepting turbochargers. It's almost like it was always meant to be.
That's right. Lego car, everything went on. The SME kit that we put on was a proper bolt-on kit.
Yep.
The Garrett Turbo, Bellissimo.
We're driving it now.
We're driving it. So it's
On
got
a
a
base
base
tune
tune so that we can get down to the dyno. Today, we're going to get it tuned. Tyler from PBS is going to tune it. We're going to see what kind of power it can make. We're going to compare some of the graphs between stock versus naturally aspirated with the tune and the headers versus turbocharged. And then we're going to be ready, man. We're going to go back to the track.
See if the power can make the BRZ defeat the almighty other blue 2-door car that we've got.
And it may not, because it depends if that power can be put down to the ground or not. But
This could be the fastest blue 2-door car we've ever had.
it could be, Martin. It could be. What I will say is, this sounds so much better turbocharged than properly headers and straight exhaust and all that
You'd
stuff.
do it just for the sound, wouldn't you?
It's amazing. And we've been able to retain the exhaust that was on there before, and that's kind of the cool way that you can build up your car if you're kind of doing mods in stages. It's a question that people ask, why do people modify really shitty cars? Because they probably can't afford exactly what they want to do all in one go, but you can go, cool, naturally aspirated exhaust and headers. You save up some money, go, cool, now I'm going to do a turbo. You can keep that stuff, keep the wheels, keep the tyres, keep the other stuff that you put on there. So, anyway, we're heading down there now, and you're coming with us on the intervals, and at the end of this episode, you'll all know how much power it makes. Then you can all argue that the power it made is less than they make from the factory because you don't understand the engine horsepower versus the wheel or hub horsepower.
It's possible.
It happens every single episode, but everyone in the comments corrects the people that need to be corrected anyway, so I don't need to explain that. That's it.
Let's do it.
Let's go make a fast BRZ. What we knew was going to happen from the very beginning, let's be honest.
We are here, of course, to get the BRZ tuned, to make the most out of our most recent mod, the magical turbocharger. Now, last time we were here, we made around 130 kilowatts at the hubs, up from the factory 105 kilowatts. And we did this by installing aftermarket headers and a performance tune. But now, we are looking for much more than that. In fact, we're aiming for closer to the 200 kilowatt range. So the car is loaded onto the dyno, and we are prepping ourselves for some epic power gains. But first, we're just checking to see what pressure the wastegate actually opens, because we're going to be running the car on wastegate pressure to see what kind of power can be made before we wind in any boost if we need to at all.
All right, Tyler, we're back on the dyno again to see how far we get from our 105 original kilowatts. What is the plan first?
I'm not telling you anything until you put your belt on.
Oh, that's right. Seatbelts on the dyno.
It's going to be massive gains today.
I forgot about that.
All right, you're all buckled in. Beautiful.
I'm buckled in. All right, what are we doing?
Well, we're just going to almost double your horsepower.
Amazing.
So, yep, that's the plan. Yeah, we'll just do some runs, make sure everything's safe, and trying to hit your magic number. And
yeah, awesome. Now we know that this particular kit, for the new players that are just watching along, with ethanol and whatever, we could be making 250 kilowatts at the wheels. So I want 180 kilowatts because that's what the SDI makes. I know the kit can make more. I know you can tune more. So I'm just doing a disclaimer, but I want 180.
Yep.
Are we going to make more power and then come back to the 180, or are we just going to use wastegate pressure? How do we get to that number?
I've just checked the wastegate pressure, and it's around at sort of 8 pounds. So I reckon that'll be pretty close. I can detune it to drop it down because we can only make as much pressure as what the wastegate spring is. So
Yes.
if we want to make if it's making more, we've actually got to put a lesser spring in it again. Or I can just detune it a little bit.
We just make more until Marty is.
Or we could do that, yeah.
I think that's it. Oh, hello, Martin.
Forgot he was in it. So I reckon we should be able to do that pretty easy because most of these kids straight off the bat will make that sort of power.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, so we basically run it up, get it up to temperature, do a run, and then go from there.
Yep, and I'll just sort of do some increments to make sure we're not all our timing safe and all the rest of it before we do a full run. But
Yep.
yeah, we'll just work up to it and get the result.
Awesome. Now, people, dear comment section, the reason we're wearing the seatbelts is because otherwise the BRZ goes meh, 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 and then after a certain prescribed time, then it doubles meh, 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 and it's horrendous. Yes, you can buy little plugs and stick them in there, or you could just put your seatbelt on.
Yeah, or you could put it behind your back, but I didn't think that far ahead.
Yeah, I know. All right, cool. Let's do it.
All right,
Let's go. Grab your lappy and
All right, let's do
off we go. That's a laptop, not a lap dance, by the way.
The first thing we're going to do is have a look at the tune that's in the car that we installed after the turbo conversion. This is a map that Tyler installed so that I could drive the car around. But now that we're actually on the dyno, we can monitor what's going on properly and make some adjustments. Marty is super stoked because now we can see positive boost pressure, which means page up for more power. With everything looking okay, it's time for our first run.
All right, power on. Let's give it a go.
Give it a hit.
Is that 195?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty... This actually came on really well.
And that's it. Thanks for watching this
That's a
episode
wrap.
of Mighty Come-Ons, guys. 195 kilowatts on the hubs, which is probably around 180 on a roller dyno,
look,
right?
roller dynos, there's always that...
Are we done? Are we going home now?
Yeah, we're done. So that's good. Safe fuel levels, a little bit richer down low to keep it safe.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a little bit fat, but it's okay. I'd rather it be that way than the other way.
Yep,
So
no worries.
We can fine tune it a bit, but it's pretty good. I'm happy with that.
Cool. Is anyone interested just to see how far it goes, even though we'll bring it back? Is anyone interested to see that? Me neither.
Once you get to that 200 kilowatt mark, that actually ggets pretty lean on fuel. We're going to go injectors.
Yeah, cool.
So that's why
Okay.
we can't really run any more boost.
Right.
You'll find that the turbo, as it gets a bit hot, you lose a little bit of its spool time down low.
Yeah,
But you got a shitload. Like 325 is pretty good for these particular, like an 8 pound. That's a pretty good result for boost to come in.
Yep.
And your torque limit. Normally some of the bigger turbo kits, you lose a little bit of bottom end, but they'll be better at the top end.
Another couple of changes are made, and then we are going for another run.
Okay, so we've made some slight adjustments to that bass tune.
Yeah, just some slight fuel adjustments so we don't chew too much juice. And yeah, but we haven't altered timing or boost or any of that. It's all the same.
Yeah, because all of that's looking good anyway.
Yeah, it's
so
looking good.
we'll do a run, see what our final curve looks like, and then jump out and have a chat.
Sounds good.
Awesome, let's do it. Ah, sounds
There you go. Too much.
good. How much power did we make that time?
More.
220, did you say?
219. Our fuel number's good. I wasn't expecting that.
How many pistons is it supposed to have? It's got 3.
I have seen these things do that because obviously it's reasonably efficient, but
Did you just make a whole bunch of extra power then?
I did, but I didn't. All I did was make the fuel better. I know it likes it,
It
responds
loves it.
to it,
It
but
loves it. That turbo loves it too, doesn't it?
oh yeah,
Like that's a super
that's
efficient
actually
turbo.
a lot better than I normally see, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
because you can do the same thing with a turbo for a third the price,
yeah,
but maybe it's not as efficient.
yeah. So most of the turbo kits you see don't have the Gen 2s on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
okay.
people don't want to spend the money. The kits don't come with them. But this is really liking it up the top.
The power curve is looking awesome, and again, I'm super impressed with the BRZ. We've got around 220 kilowatts at the hubs. We're going to make some minor adjustments to make sure the tune is safe, and then confirm the numbers with a final power run.
Well, just hopefully it doesn't boost creep, because that's sort of what's going to kill us power-wise. These things just want to make power. So
Okay.
when you boost them up. So, but yeah, we'll give it a run and we'll see how
Cool.
we go.
See how we go. Perfect. 220 kilowatts at the wheels and we're done.
Not what I wanted, but I can pull some more timing out, I guess. I can do that.
I don't want to make it hard work to make less. If that's what it's making naturally, no, we should just leave it.
You don't have boost control, so you don't get a choice.
Yeah.
And you're out of fuel, so that's it.
I was aiming for 180 kilowatts at the wheel, so it would be the same as Marty's STI power, but I've ended up with 220, which is more, but more is good. We've basically doubled the factory power, going from around 105, 110 up to 220 we got to, which was pretty amazing. So we can see up here on the screen, this kind of green dashed line here is a totally stock car here. Then we've got some headers added to it as well. You can see that kind of gets rid of some of this kind of torque dip here. The blue line here is naturally aspirated with headers and a tune. And then up here you can see our base map in red that we got about 195. And then over here, the final one, which is sitting up here at around 220 or so. So excellent result.
Interestingly as well, so power on this side, and you've got torque on this side, and you can see where that actually does change how the car feels on the road. Like peak power we talk about a lot, but torque, how much torque it's actually producing really does make a difference, and you can see the huge jump when you add a turbo. But torque is also most likely what's going to kill your motor. If you're asking too much or bringing on your boost too soon, too hard, that's when you start breaking stuff. So actually part of tuning and what Tyler's doing is running the gauntlet of keeping that in an area where you can still drive the car and not kill it. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like you're limited to boost a little bit. So if you can try and keep your boost down and your torque numbers down in the lower RPM, generally you get a bit more engine life. I mean, we could make it rip in at 3 grand, but it's just these particular engines just aren't going to take it.
Because that is a car that's built to be NA.
That's
it's
right,
not a
100%.
turbo, not a turbo engine. So our turbo is actually a bit too efficient.
Yeah, that Gen 2 is, honestly, I've tuned heaps of them, but I just didn't think it was going to make that sort of grunt, to be honest.
Not a
Always
bad thing.
On gate pressure.
Yeah.
It is boost creeping slightly, but still on 8 pound in that sort of mid-range. It only just starts from 6 onwards, it's starting to boost creep a tad, but yeah, on 8 pounds, what a good little turbo.
Am I correct in saying these numbers here, that our torque at 4,000 RPM has gone from 130 to 300?
300, yeah. Look, that's a full stock run. That was a pretty new car, so it might be a little on the loosest, bit on the tight side, but yeah, generally 140 or 130 to 150 is probably in the bottom of that dip. That's generally what you see standard.
And now we're at 325 up there.
You've literally doubled it.
So we're not in the worst situation either, because our turbo is not working very hard and it wants to make more power, which is not actually a bad thing, because now if you were going to chase more, like we're going to drive it, right? But if we were going to chase more power, you don't have to change that.
No.
You go, okay, let's work on our fuel system and let's work on other things to try and support it. So it saves you having to go, oh, I just spent like 2 grand or $1,000 on a turbo, now I've got to spend another $1,000. You don't.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
The fuel would make, like, you can honestly jump another 100 Newton meters of torque again, just by keeping the boost pretty similar and just by changing fuel. Because the high comp engine loves E85 and your torque will probably, if we ran this on E85 now, I reckon you'd be shooting pretty close to 400 Newton meters.
Whoa. Wow. And so we're pretty much at the limit of petrol, do you think?
Yeah, I've got it pretty, when I say safe, I've got it as where I'd be happy to run it on the track, but any more than that, if we start running closer to 10, that's when we're going to start running out of fuel.
And we are running on the track, which is different to tuning a car just primarily for the street, where you give it 2 squirts and that's it, whereas track it's going the whole time.
If we look at the power figures here, if we changed injectors and went E85, which is a fairly simple change, in a kind of a best case scenario, what kind of peak power figures would we be looking at?
I would say if you kept boost being similar, or if you ran sort of 10, 11 pound, honestly, you'd see over, you could see as much as 450. Like I've done, depending on the efficiency of the kit, and this turbo seems to be awesome. I'd honestly say you'd be up sort of 400 to 450 torque, and then you'd be up probably close to 80 kilowatt.
Yeah. And then you're going to find the mechanical limits of your engine, aren't you?
You would.
They're not built for it, but hey, that's also that thing where boost pressure is not necessarily, you know, like 10 pounds from one turbo and 10 pounds from another is not always the same as well, is it? So that is very efficient and seems to be flowing a good amount of air. And the engine loves it.
Yeah, they do. They really respond.
Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you very much, Tyler.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Mate. Cheers, man.
And Martin, the next thing to do is we need to head to the track. And bring your best 2-door blue car, Martin.
I will.
And we will take we will go for a battle. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching. And there it is. Thank you very much, PVS. BRZ, very happy with the result.
We should
Let's go get some lunch.
We should drive it.
And we'll go for a drive. All right, leaving PVS in our turboed
and tuned BRZ. We finally made it the way it should have been all along, Martin.
It sounds so good. And you found yourself an on-ramp. How convenient. Wow, the top end's there, eh?
Feels good.
That's where it is.
Doesn't feel scary fast, but it just feels good.
It feels like it used to, but more of everything.
Yes.
Doesn't it? Like it was always top endy and it still is. Yeah, man. Once you get the revs into it, that's awesome.
Really cool.
No longer a slow car. That handles well.
Yeah. Now a fast car that handles well.
Yeah. Best of both worlds. And it just stays on the speed limit easily rather than like, oh, I better go back to third because there's a slight hill.
Even I am anyway.
Yeah, man. That's quick.
It's really good.
Love it.
All right, there it is. That's the BRZ. It's turbo. It's making the right noises. It's fast. Next video, we're going to be on the track for a bit of fun joviality, if that's a word, with the STI and the BRZ. Loser loses their car. See you next time, Mighty Carmos.